So good evening and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly on the 2nd of July. Where's the year going? Just over halfway through the season. Game on with me tonight, as always, is Greg, who's a bit blurred. That's not... I think you need to clean your camera there, sir.
No, it's because it's before the 9 o'clock watershed, mate.
Is that what it is?
Right, kids.
Yeah, we've got to look after the children. And Steph Sale, of course, is with us as always. Good evening to you, Steph. You well?
Good evening. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday indeed, as it says there, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment and subscribe. Make sure that you share now with the people that are watching. We'll keep you posted on the Academy score if you're interested in that. 16 points to 8, France lead against England at this moment in time. So there you jolly well go. What we'll do is we'll kick off and we'll start with a little bit of the gossip column. Let's do that. Jake Clifford being rumoured to be coming back to Super League, trying to get a suitor for next season. What's your thoughts on that, boys?
He'd be a good side. He was a good player at Hull FC. I always enjoyed watching him play. He has got an average performance in him, but he's a decent player, and I'm sure there's plenty of teams looking for a halfback at the moment.
Yeah, Greg.
Well, Drinkwater's leaving Warrington at the end of this season. That's all been all but confirmed. I wouldn't put it past Warrington to put a bid in for him.
Leon Hayes, mate.
We know Warrington.
We do.
Too well.
Well, I mean,
I'd like to think that Leon Hayes is the future, but let's put it one way, it wouldn't surprise me.
St. Helens, mate. Dodd.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Good shout.
Leeds,
yeah, for all of you. That could be a shout. Anyway, we'll keep our eye on that. Chad Townsend, though, appears not to be coming to the Catalan Dragons. A bit of cold water has been poured on that. And another bit of cold water as well. Matty Nicholson's been asked this week around potentially going to Canberra. Maybe that little word from Sean Wayne has made him think twice. A little bit coy was Matty Nicholson this week, right?
Yes, yeah, I noticed that. And I did notice that he was kind of saying this after Shane Warne. Shane Warne? I hope not.
Lazarus, that was Shane. Go on, mate. Dear me.
I am getting recording. You can have your tenors. After Sean Wayne said to the media that he thought it was too soon, and I know Mr. Gildart had a word with his son about going over there and whether it was too soon a few years ago, and it kind of was proved right. I think Matty Nicholson is a great player, but and purely selfish reasons, I'd like him to stay at Warrington for a few more seasons. But also, I think he doesn't want to go over there and it not be a success.
No.
I think he should, whether it's with us or with another Super League team, give it a few more years and then go over there.
Good shout.
Good luck to the lad, whatever he decides.
Good evening to Callum Calver, Craig Forth, Nicola Burtonwood, Peter Mason, Bazza Kingston, Lee Partington. Oh, they're all Super League Raw members. They're all here. They're all getting involved. Great to have you involved. Chris Young, first time seeing Chris's name on the screen. Ryan Sutton, rumoured to be signing for Salford next season. Steph, if that was true, what would you make of that? Ryan Sutton to the Red Devils?
Yeah, decent player. Salford, they seem to be racking up the signings at the moment for a club that's, rumoured to not have much money. They seem to be signing quite a lot of players, which is great for the Salford fans.
Well, they'll be challenging Wakey for that honour, won't they? The amount of signings that Wakey are putting together this season.
Wakey are making some good signings at the minute.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Wakefield, ladies and gentlemen, pleased and delighted to say that our next in conversation is with a Wakefield player, Josh Griffin. That was recorded in the last 24 hours. You members out there, you will be getting this in your inbox in the next 24 hours once it's been edited and everything's been done for it. You'll be getting it a week early. But everybody else, you'll be getting it a week on Wednesday, a week tomorrow, 8 p.m. on YouTube. You'll also be able to download it as a podcast. Here's a little sneak peek. And let me tell you, Josh doesn't hold back on many things in this interview. It's really quite interesting. He talks about his time leaving Hull FC, his thoughts about Hull FC as a club. Oh, he doesn't hold back. It's outstanding. And this is what he had to say about this weekend.
Turning this, Tentoy has got Swift inside him. Swift, Griffin has he got the post? Has he got the post for his hat-trick? He has! Josh Griffin!
Them kind of England-France games, they do well. I don't want to disrespect the French national team, that they are a bit of a blowout. But no, like you said there, the exiles team, some of the players you can put in that were unbelievable. You probably have your Brody Crofts and some people like yourself, Dofties, and Nene and Lafay. That they can probably England a really good scare. And people would have been more engaged with that. You take it to Toulouse where the French fans weren't probably that interested. You're not going to get many English fans travelling over. You've done it in the middle somewhere. Or I've always been a big fan of, even though I'm not from either Yorkshire or Lancashire, but bringing them back as well. That gives, I think, that would be a massive stepping stone for the sport. I think you'd get some really, really engagement from that. I think you've got a very there's a competitive nature. There's a rivalry there that they're just not doing anything with.
No. So there you go, a little sneak peek, me and Josh talking about the international fiasco that was this weekend. I'm going to go big on this. I really am. I'm passionate about our sport, but by God, did we look amateur on Saturday. Everything about it, the marketing, the production, the commentary, absolutely disgraceful. It says it there on the screen. Do it properly and don't do it all. That was James Graham's view on NRL 360. I couldn't agree with him more. I mean, you've got the great Gordon Tallis laughing at International Rugby League in the Northern Hemisphere on NRL 360. You really do have problems. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to say it loud and proud. Rugby Football League, you are not fit for purpose. You are not doing our sport on the international scene any favours at all. I have to feel for the debutants in this. I really do. As you can tell, I'm absolutely livid. The likes of O'Neill, Minchella, these people that made their debut. Sam Wood, rightly so, passionate about playing for England. And what did they have to do? Sing a national anthem to an empty stand. That's just not acceptable. Not acceptable, Rugby Football League. I'm absolutely livid about what I saw on Saturday. Boys, over to you.
Well, I'm not going to sit on the fence like you, Dave.
Good man.
I thought it was shambolic. I can't. There's no word of argument I've got for you there, Dave. There's nothing I can say in any mitigation about the whole, unless what it is, an experiment. It wasn't advertised. This was an ideal fixture that maybe the BBC kind of could have picked up on. They want to show Rugby League. It's been very few and far between the games on BBC, but maybe they could have picked up on this. You can guarantee if it's Australia, Great Britain, they'll throw their hat in the ring. No marketing, no PR, no forward thinking. Having it in the south of France when I think the fans of every team now, if I'm not mistaken, have already forked good money to go to the south of France to watch their team play already in that part of the world. Yeah, there's nothing that can defend the decision to play it at this point in the season as well. Just give the players a week off. Minchella's picked up a 2-game ban, apparently. So,
nothing to make me surprised, mate, quite frankly.
That's all I've heard today, Minchella. Whether it's, the usual fake news on social media, but what I've read today, Minchella's looking at a 2-game ban for a nothing game. It's... Yeah, Dave, I'm 100% agreement with you.
Steph, everything, the camera work, the commentary, everything, absolutely everything about this just stunk to high heaven, didn't it?
Yeah, I've seen Challenge Cup games in the early rounds at amateur clubs be commentated on better and streamed better, which is
my youngest daughter's game against Leigh, which is why I was missing last week. Apologies. Had a better stream and had better quality of camera work than that game. Yeah,
I mean, you've got to question. I think we've really got to start looking at what IMG are doing now, and the Rugby Football League, because if you look at Australia, the New Zealand, the Anzac tests, which they're bigged up, shown on terrestrial TV over there, It was just amateur, a real amateur. And if you're going to play it, for me, why not do it at a club like Warrington or at Leigh or Saints or somewhere like that where there's no other games to watch, You know, you're going to get your heartland clubs who are interested, especially ones for people who want to see the debutants as well. You know, but I think the main thing for me is if you want to grow the international game, you've got to get a terrestrial broadcaster on board with it, and they've got to, it's got to be a spectacle, and there's got to be some money invested in it. You've got to have a pre-match singer, you've got to have some fireworks going off. You've got to bring a bit of razzmatazz, because you can't just expect people to turn up in the south of France for a nothing game. It's just
it's laughable. This
and you mentioned IMG there, Steph. I think anybody who's been watching us for long, I've said for a long time, I'm a bit concerned that IMG are a bit Emperor's new clothes.
But they don't oversee England Rugby League. They
I know, but
you can't talk IMG.
They're looking at it. Surely they're looking at it.
Not interested.
It's impacting on the game.
Mate, it's not their remit. Their remit is Super League. Their remit is Super League. It's not International Rugby League. That's the Rugby Football League. And the Rugby Football League, quite frankly, need to take a long, hard look at themselves. We're passionate about this game. The players deserve better. These lads are putting their bodies on the line week in, week out. Best athletes in the world. And we can't even give them a proper stage to play on for International Rugby League. It's an absolute outrage. It's a disgrace. And everybody should be up in arms. I believe that Paul Wellens has come out today. I'd expect most press conferences from the players. I can't wait to hear what the likes of Burgess has got to say on it with regards to it. An absolute disgrace. The players deserve better than that. Do it proper or don't do it at all. And on the topic of doing it proper, I spoke to Josh Griffin with regards to this. And for me personally, typical flippy flop rugby league, we did the Exiles in 2011. 14,000 went to Headingley. And we lost. Call me cynical. We lost. Maybe that's why we didn't redo it. We lost 16-12. Maybe some people got embarrassed by that. But here's the thing. Had they played the Exiles this weekend, you know me, I like a graphic. So here we go. I've done a bit of work for you, lads. Would you have gone to Headingley to watch this? So this is the French team. Look at the Exiles 2024 that we could have had against an England team. This would have given them a test. This would have got them ready for Australia. Fullback, Dufty or Field. It would probably have been Dufty because Field's injured. Wings, Miskey or Blake on one side, McDonald and Maludi on the other. You've got the centres. You've got Iku, Hurrell, Masters, Lafay. Standoffs, Brodie Croft or Bevan French, take your pick. Scrum halves, Lam or Moylan, take your pick. Prop forwards, you've got Amon, SASA, Satai, Vaughan, take your pick. Two hookers, Ipape and Lehman, take your pick. Second rows, Fitzgibbon, Reece Martin, Kalepi Tangino, Curtis Sirinen. Loose forwards, Luke Yates, Ben Garcia. You get 13 out of that lot. You put another 4 of them on the bench, and I tell you what, that's a proper international test. You do that. Do an Origin. You could do an Origin, Exiles versus England. I mean, you heard Josh Griffin there talk about Yorkshire versus Lancashire. What is the Rugby Football League doing to promote the international game when you've got these opportunities right under your nose, and you let us go over to Toulouse to 4,000 fans, and some of them were Featherstone fans that only travelled because Fev were playing later in the day. And we haven't even talked about the women's game. It's a disgrace that they've got to go and do it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have gone to Headingley to watch that game, boys, if we'd have played an Exiles team like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
They could have even split it and played one team in the first half and a complete second team in the second half, and still probably won the game. Sorry, was not supposed to say that.
I mean, but the thing is as well, we're trying. I mean, look, I've maybe pointed there. I had to read the team out because I'm very mindful of the fact that people are watching this on a podcast. So I mean, that's the quality of what the Exiles team could have been. But you're right about the Australians. We've had to almost bribe Samoa to come over. If you're Australia and New Zealand, you're watching that. Not just the fact. I mean, they probably have a lot of respect for the England players and playing England. But do they want to be shown? I mean, you've just seen the State of Origin and the production around State of Origin. They'll look at that and go, so we're going to go over there and that's the best they're going to do to market us as players. Why should we go over there? And that's when they're holding camcorders and, second-rate commentary. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, totally agree.
I mean, it takes a lot to get me riled, but I'm telling you, I'm riled. And I'm riled because our players deserve better. Our lads deserve better. And the good, and the ladies as well.
The supporters do as well. The supporters do.
Of course they do.
I've had to think about this, and I miss the old Great Britain versus Australia. And what I really, really miss is the Australian touring side playing First Division as was, and then Super League sides. They were great nights at Wilderspool watching Warrington take on the Australians and then going to Central Park and St Helens and watching Wigan and Saints, and then maybe going over to Leeds and watching them playing the Australian touring team. And the crowds were huge. So, here's an idea. Let's have, if we're going to have mid-season internationals or internationals in the season, let's have a Four Nations competition to get to kind of see who's good enough for Great Britain, like Origin was. Origin was devised to get as a kind of a test for who was fit for Australia to play for Australia. That was the whole reason behind Origin. So let's do a Four Nations, if you like.
I think it needs to be
qualifies for Great Britain.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a Lancashire, Yorkshire. I think if you want the crowds, I think that's what's going to pull a crowd in. And I think for me, there's only one answer for this, and it's the NRL has got to buy Super League. And until that happens, we're not going to get the production. They're the only ones that can come in and save it for me. Because they will put investment.
Super League. They'd buy Super League. They would not. That internationally.
Yeah, but that's going to be part of the deal, Dave.
Well,
I think if they're going, part of the deal needs to be that they take over Super League, but they also take over the internationals and bring back a competition that's going to have that. And I think part of them buying it needs to be an Origin game in the UK, which has to be Lancashire, Yorkshire, because that's just the way it is. Most of the players will come from those things, and it needs to be included in the package. And then that's the only way we're going to get an international competition.
Just going to pick on Paul Boardman's point here. Good job it was free. Do you know what? Now I am going to come to IMG. Super League Plus. Super League Plus. If I was IMG now, I'd be finding the Rugby Football League. Because they'd be, at the end of the day, Sky's improved this year. Nobody can argue. Sky's production this year has improved really, really well. I've got to give them raps for that. It's a massively improved product than it was the year before, without question. But this was an opportunity for Super League Plus to get subscriptions as well. I mean, God, the internet must have nearly fell over. There was that many people trying to subscribe to that commentary and that production at the weekend. I mean, dearie me, what is going on? Shocking.
And Alex makes a good point as well. We're in the middle of the Euros, and it was Glastonbury, and he doesn't mention it, Alex, but it's Glastonbury as well. What an awful weekend to put an England-France international on.
Spot on, mate. Don Kirby there saying how many times did they mention the subscription at $49.99? It's a good job that Super League Raw subscription isn't that much. Hey, we're worth every penny if that's $49.99. Dearie.
The price is up, Dave.
That's no. They're perfectly fine as they are. The more the merrier. That's right. Don't forget, join the membership, ladies and gentlemen. Nice little segue into that one there, wasn't it? Outstanding stuff. Memberships are open. Go to www.patreon.com/Super League Raw. And of course, you can be involved with all of the merriment. Get involved in the Final Whistle podcast.
Just going back to what Steph said there about the RFL buying into Super League. By the way, somebody's correct. Somebody has said that it's fake news about Minchella, which is good news. But one of the rumours around if RFL do the Aussies buy into our sport, that it could go back to a winter game. I just wonder what the people in the chat think about rugby league going back to a winter game rather than a summer game.
Half of it's played in the winter anyway.
Well, exactly. We have 6 weeks of summer.
Exactly.
Look, at the end of the day, I think it'd be a small price to pay to get a little bit of money involved and a little bit of sensibility involved.
I genuinely miss September to May, and the Challenge Cup would then become an end of season game as well, which would be, I think, could reinvigorate the Challenge Cup. The season ends, and then the Challenge Cup final.
Given the quality of stadia now, there's not many now that haven't got decent pitches. So I think at the Super League level, it wouldn't be too bad a thing to revert back to winter.
That's an interesting point from Callum. He says, why don't we take Magic Weekend to Dubai? Once they see our sport, they'll be all over it. You know what, Callum? Not a bad shout, mate. We know that a little bit of that money would be nice, wouldn't it? But again, with that behind the curve, mate, we're miles away from that type of, dare I say, out of the box thinking, etc.
Forward thinking. Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, as I was rudely interrupted by Greg, but I let him go this week. He won't do it again. It's all right, sir. I was just about to promote the fact that, of course, we've got the next Super League Raw quiz. That's on the way, 17th of July, 2024, 8 p.m. The tickets are on sale now. In the description of this, what you're watching, if you're on YouTube, just click the description. You'll see a link there to Eventbrite. You'll also see the link on YouTube as well. For as little as £5, ladies and gentlemen, you could be in with a chance of going to Magic Saturday with Super League Raw. 2 tickets up for grabs, £5 entry, great night of entertainment. And hey, who knows, if you win, you're on your way to Magic Saturday. Brilliant lineup of games. I think it's Hull FC London, Saints Wigan, Leeds against Warrington. That's one not to be missed. Get yourself over to Eventbrite after the show tonight. Get your tickets. Members, you don't have to do anything because you, of course, as you know, are automatically invited. So you don't have to do a thing, but come to the Super League Royal Quiz Night on the 17th of July. We'll look forward to having your company there. Well, let's move this debate on a little bit further. I put let's be fair, an essay written by a Huddersfield Giants fan over the French project. Now, I know Steph will have a view on this one, but let's have a little chat about it because I sort of get the sentiment of what he was saying. Now, it turned into, let's just all have a dig at Huddersfield because they only get 4,000 fans, etc., which wasn't the point. The point was that, if we've already argued that if the point of mid-season internationals is to make England better as a team going to play Australia in the World Cup, exiles is the way forward, or competitive games like the exiles is the way forward. If it's to promote the French game, if it's to develop the French game, look, the bottom line is we've got to start having a bit of sense, a little bit, of a perspective on this. French Rugby League, just over 4,000 fans watched at the weekend. In the last 10 meetings between France and England, it's been 462 to 74. That's going to make people go through turnstiles. Now, in terms of Catalan, great effort from Leigh, of course, taking 800 fans over recently. But Catalan don't bring fans over to the UK. His argument was 2.5 million a year has gone to Catalan. Another 2.5 could potentially go to Toulouse if they were to come up. That's 5 million. And my argument is this. Had London had the same level of investment as Catalan has had over the last 15 years, if a Cumbrian team had had the same level of investment, had York City Knights have had that level of investment, had Bradford have had it, would Odsel be in the state of disrepair that it is? And I thought it was a really interesting point that they've had all this money thrown at the French game. And there's no doubt Catalan, great team. They've added a lot of spice over the last 3 years, 2 finals in 3, no argument. But the point is, if that money hadn't gone to France, would we have had another team with that amount of investment like a London that would be pulling in more crowds because they're up to 5,000 this year, more crowds, and would we have took it forward? Or is expansion the way? I don't know. Stefan, I'll come to you last because I know you love France. Greg, your view?
It's a difficult one because fans love to go to Catalan. Catalan have brought some good things to the game. They've been to Wembley. They beat us at Wembley. They've been to 2 grand finals. The days of them being the whipping boys have gone. But from what I can gather from the early days of Super League and the investment from Rupert Murdoch, the 90-odd million that he put in initially or 87 million, whatever it was, in the mid-90s, was that we had Paris Saint-Germain as a spearhead to create a French league. And that was the aim. And it's just not happened. We've fallen into a comfort zone where we've accepted that there will be at least 1, and on occasion 2 French teams in Super League. And as much as I think Catalan are good for the game, we have to look at what it's actually doing to the French game. And from here, it appears that apart from Toulouse, it's not doing a lot for French Rugby League.
Well, Neil Rennick's there. Great point. His thought is we give all this money to the French league through Catalan, etc., and then the French government dismissed the World Cup and turned it into an absolute farce. It's a great point. It
is. So, if we could guarantee that there was a strong French rugby league that Catalans could go into with Toulouse and 10 other teams, and it'd be a strong league, and promote French Rugby League and give us a team that can challenge England and challenge maybe even New Zealand or Australia, as highly unlikely as that is, then I think the experiment would have been a success. At the minute, I'm not so sure. It's a hell of a lot of money, and you're right. If we'd have had a Cumbrian team, if we'd have had a London team, would that have benefited our game more?
Well, last week when you weren't here, I said to Steph that, you know, if there was a Cumbrian team which wasn't a combined team of all the current teams, to take the politics out of it, a Cumbrian Super League team that the others fed into, if that, I guarantee you now, Steph, and you've got to concede this, if they'd have been getting 2.5 million and had a stadium, and they were getting 2.5 million for the last 10 to 15 years, here's the point. Do you think there'd be over 10,000 Cumbrian fans in that stadium by now? I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see why not. But I think what I would say with regards to Catalan is I dismiss the away team. They don't bring any fans argument straight away, because London don't. Leeds didn't bring anybody to Leigh. 150, 200. So unless you're playing a local derby on a Friday night, it's very rarely the away team will bring more than a few hundred. So that argument for me is gone. It's about your home attendances. Look at how many Catalan get at home. They're averaging more than probably most of the top clubs in Super League. They're at over 10,000, I think they're at average attendance. Look how many French players they're producing that are in that side. So when you look at it in terms of when they started off and it was full of English players and Australians, that's now gone. They're bringing through the talent through there, and they are starting to produce. What I don't buy into is trying to grow the French international game. I don't see what that brings us, and I think your point was made perfectly in terms of the drubbings we've given them over the past few seasons. Catalan have been in the top 6 of Super League for the last 10 years. They've made grand finals. You know, if anybody says Catalan haven't brought anything to this competition, then well, you need to give your head a wobble. For me, frankly, because they're doing it better than most. Look at the promotion they do on Twitter. You know, look at how they're signing the players and the announcements they're doing. They're embarrassing some Super League clubs with what they're doing in terms of the marketing. So from that respect, I would say some clubs, Super League clubs, maybe need to look at Catalan and look at their model. Look at what they do pre-match before the games and stuff like that there. So for me, they're a valuable asset to Super League. But like I say, I'm slightly biased because I love going there. But I also see the value that they are bringing. And I think as soon as you start, if you would take Catalan out of the league now, there'd be uproar because
yeah.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's a debate. I mean, you know, yeah. I'm not. I recognise the fact that Catalan are a very competitive side, bring a lot to the game, and they do. But I just felt that when I saw that post, it was an interesting debate. It's £2.5 million a year going to the south of France. It's not improving the French national team. It hasn't done that. That's to your point, Steph. It isn't. It's not having any impact on that whatsoever. No. I like watching Catalan. I think Catalan are a great team to watch, and you know, I've got nothing but respect for what Steve Mack's done over there. But this, I just felt, was an interesting chat. We've had a good chat around that. You know, we could let it rumble on, but I think we've exhausted it. Interesting that Ian Judson's back tonight. Good evening, Ian. Not seen him for a while. How about 5 to 6 Nations comp using the England Knights instead? Absolutely. You know, I think the England Knights. I think an England Knights game mid-season, the younger talent, giving the older boys a bit of a rest, letting the young stars shine, could be a shout. I'd have to say that. But yeah, lots of people in the chat. I haven't got time to get through it all. I've got lots to talk about in terms of round number 16. But who knows? We might come back to that later on in the season.
Yeah. I mean, like with you, Steph, I think Catalan bring a lot to Super League. But, you know, as Neil's saying, you know, isn't it not time we start pulling the money back and letting Catalan stand on their own 2 feet?
Well, that's supposed to be happening from next year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting.
I think they do pay for their own flights and stuff to come over.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to account for that. That's not a cheap thing for them. And a lot of the point what people are making is how much money is being spent when people are travelling over there. Well, most of the people are staying in Lloret de Mar in Spain. They're not putting the money in Perpignan, and they're begging. The Catalans are actually begging people now to actually stay in Perpignan, which, if you do go over, I'd encourage you to do because it's a beautiful place. And that's the tourism bit. They're not seeing the full effect on it because it's only for the match day where actually people are going to Perpignan.
Fair play, boys. Look, really, really interesting debate. I'll tell you what, let's move on at a pace because this has reared its head again tonight. It would appear that the women could be off to Las Vegas. England's women's rugby league team take on Australian women's rugby league team as part of the NRL extravaganza of rugby league over in Las Vegas. And the Warriors and the Wire, it's not going away. Warrington and Wigan really up for going over there and having a game in Las Vegas next season. This can only be good for the English game.
Yeah, this is where it's all going towards the NRL buying Super League. This is the reason why they need to do it, because the competitions need to amalgamate together in events such as this to grow the game. And we've got is the heritage. You know, we've got the history of your Wigans and stuff like that, names that are known internationally in rugby league. And I think it'd be a fantastic idea.
It'd be brilliant.
I always said it should be the Challenge Cup winner versus the Super League Grand Final winner.
Like a Charity Shield type.
Yeah, like a Charity Shield type of game. But it actually counts as a league game. And if they're the same team, then the person who got to the Challenge Cup final or the Super League Grand Final should be the one to go, as they do with the football.
It would be this season, would it? With
and I think
the grand final, Warrington runners up in the Challenge Cup.
Yes, and that to me, it's also a great thing for the fans as well, because if you know as a fan of that club that you've won at Wembley, but that also means that you're going to Vegas. Brilliant, you know, that makes it even better, doesn't it? You know.
Neil Rennick saying, would I be doing my Elvis? Well, never say never, sir. Never.
Well, I hear they need some halftime entertainment, Dave.
Well, you know me, I'm never shy when it comes to a bit of Mr. Presley. Never shy on that at all. Hey, I've never done Super League Raw with the lip out. You never know. You never ever know. What I would like to say is a couple of thank yous as well. Last week, big thank yous to Dawn Kirkby, Bazza Kingston. I think Jamie Lawson as well was another one. Steve Eachus as well. All upgrading the membership. Thank you very much, guys. They've come along. They took out a membership that was right for their pocket. They're loving it that much. They want to support us even more. They want to get more involved. Each one of those four actually went up a level in their membership this week, as did Craig Rigby as well. So big thank yous to everybody who is not only supporting us, but he's actually enjoying it that much that they're now moving through. Neil, I do them all, sir. Do GI, Levers, and Vegas, my friend. Do all three. Don't you worry about that, my friend. Don't you worry about it. Anyway, we're not here to promote Elvis. We're here to promote Super League. Right. So that can only be a good thing for the British game. Right. What we're going to do, because we're halfway through the show now, what we'll do, we normally do this at the end of the show, but let's just remind ourselves a week later who are the top performers after 15 rounds of the Betfred Super League. Here they come.
Here are your top performers after 15 rounds of the Betfred Super League. Still leading the try-scoring chart is Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors with 16. The most try assists have come from Mark Sneed of the Salford Red Devils with 17. Whilst the most meters made continues to be Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves with 2,755. The most tackle busts have been made by Tim Lafai of the Salford Red Devils with 118. Whilst the most clean breaks have once again come from Liam Marshall with 80. The most offloads in Super League is Akeem Maludi with 34 for the London Broncos. Whilst the most hard meters made, you've got to be a prop forward, second row loose forward in this one, is Reece Martin of the Leeds Rhinos with 1,601. The most tackles have been made by Leeds Rhinos captain Cameron Smith with 595. And once again, Mark Sneed leads the goal-kicking charts with 50. Mark Percival just one behind on 49. These are your top performers after 15 rounds of the Betfred Super League.
Fantastic stuff there. Great to see those top performers week in, week out. Who will be the top of those lists next?
Again.
At the round number 16, and isn't it great that round number 16 is just a few hours away. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, this will become the prediction show. So we're going to go forward now into round number 16. So yeah, happy days. Here we go. So actually, do you know what? Thinking about it, we're just going to have to find a little bit here to entertain ourselves. Guess what I've done? I've deleted our sponsor. I've deleted our sponsor's video. How very, very poor of me that is. So I'm going to have to go and find it. So whilst we're doing that, just back to this point about the NRL. Did you see Phil Gould's comments, which was quite interesting? He said that he'd been in conversations with some bigwigs in the English game around the clubs, and they're very much in favour of the NRL buying Super League.
I can't see why. I can't see any negatives with it. I really cannot see anything negative with the NRL buying into Super League. I think they will have a good go at fixing the issues that we have in the English game. Simply because the English players that go over there must talk, and fans must talk over there. And you know, I think, as much as the Aussies love beating the Poms, I think they would much prefer to have a more competitive challenge. You know, New Zealand have provided that over the last few years. And I think they would love it if England, or as I'd say, Great Britain, would provide a much sterner test for their players. And I think this will do it. And you know, going back to, a lot of people said no to Winter League, going back to Winter Rugby League. Some said yes, some said no. But, you know, it would end this thing about Aussie players having to come over and move a lot of stock and barrel, the families and everything, because if we played our winter and their winter, our players could over and get experience over there. Their players could come over. You know, in the 80s, we had Mal Meninga playing for Saints. You know, we very, very rarely get about an Aussie superstar in their prime over to come and sign for a Super League team. So if you got Aussie players coming over in their prime and playing in Super League, and then our players going over there as well, it can only benefit crowds. It can only benefit the game. It can only benefit the English game. You know, if you got some of those Aussie superstars, you know, Dale Cherry Evans turning out for Wigan, or you know, something like that, going to Castleford or to London.
It's not going to happen, though, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, but hang on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but hang on. You're not going to get that end. But what we have seen is the likes of Bevan French, the lad that you've just bought, Armstrong. You know, these players that maybe aren't at superstar level in Australia, but over here will light up the league. I mean, Craig Ford says as long as Super League don't turn into a feeder club. Alex Sharp quickly responded.
Well, yeah, that is the big thing.
Alex said we already are, which, you know, I have to agree. And look, the biggest disparity, and the only way that's going to happen, Greg, is if there's more parity between the wages. At the moment,
yeah, and I think the NRL might do that. If the NRL buy into it, they might just do that, you know, because, you know, it's a lucrative sport in Australia, NRL.
The point I was making is that the people are moaning about the amount of games our players are playing already. So they're not going to concurrently go from one season to another season. It's just not going to happen, you know, especially not with superstar players. It's too big of a risk. So for me, you keep the leagues running concurrently as they are. And like Alex said, we're already a feeder team anyway. We should be taking the one like your Armstrongs who Leigh have just signed, your young lads who aren't getting that opportunity at the moment in the NRL or on the verge of it. They're the players that we should be getting to Super League. I'd rather take those than a 34-year-old Australian at the end of his career who's been a superstar. Because if you know, Bevan French is your prime example of that. You know, a young player coming over, Field as well, who were on the fringes, have been, you know, pretty decent players, but not classed as your Jonathan Thurston's kind of players.
What I would say is that, you know, when you look at Leon Price as well this weekend,
Will Price
this weekend for the night.
What a great game!
It is going both ways, and yeah, we might lose a few of our younger players, but if our younger players are taking spots in the NRL, again, that opens up the likes of the Frenches, the Fields, the Armstrongs, the Cliffords. Clifford's gone back; he wants to come back over here. You know, Brody Croft, etc. So look, I think on the world stage, even though our league aren't doing much to actually promote it at this moment, I'm just going to keep harping back. Not fit for purpose. I might actually do that as a reel on our page because I'm that flipping livid, close to a yellow card, but not quite. If actually that would have been a red, but anyway, that's by the by. But yeah, bottom line is, I think the world game is in a great place. We're seeing some great talent. Right,
I think, Dave, just one more on that. I think they have the Queensland Cup competition where there's some absolute quality players in that, and I think if there was some form of takeover by the NRL of Super League, is that I think there should be something in place where they're not sending all the players to the Queensland Cup. They should be coming over to Super League, these young players. And I'd even go as far as that the NRL clubs could twin with a Super League club, and the fans could become fans of those and stuff like that. That may be one way of doing it as well.
Do you know what? That would improve the signage on the way into towns. I mean, I couldn't even tell you which French town that Warrington are partnered with, but I'll tell you what, if Warrington and South Sydney,
No, Brisbane Broncos, man.
South Sydney,
Brisbane
look at it, there it is, South Sydney Rabbitohs, and beautiful.
But you think West Tigers and Castleford straight away.
Perfect.
Newcastle
Knights and Wigan Warriors.
Knights and the Warriors.
Yeah, they are. Get your thoughts in the chat. There you go. Wigan Warriors and the Knights are going to have a fight on the lawn. The Tigers can have a little third party. We'll just leave it there. Right, let's get into the round number 16. Like I said, this will become the preview show, the prediction show. We're going to give a little shout out to our sponsor, and then we're going to crack on. Here we go.
Love that crunch.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
So there you go. That's the wrong one. I hate it when I do this. I really do hate it when I do this. It'll be here in a minute. I'm having a nightmare. I'm having an absolute shocker tonight. Apologies to everybody who's watching. I should be sacked. I should be sacked.
No, don't apologise, Dave.
Not at all.
Yeah, unbelievable. What's going on there? Anyway, luckily, I think I know them all off the top of my head anyway, so we'll get rid of the graphic and we'll just do it anyway. Wigan take on the Leigh Leopards. Warrington Wolves host the Huddersfield Giants. Leeds Rhinos have got the London Broncos this week for them. Saints will host the Castleford Tigers. Hull KR are taking on the Catalan Dragons, and bringing the curtain down is Salford and Hull FC. Not bad off the top of your head. There you go. Good job of doing a bit of prep going into these weeks, isn't it? Anyway, there you go. Let's take a look at where the prediction league was when we last left it. This is, of course, right. Joel still winning the prediction league this season thus far. I'm just behind him there on 226. And as you can see, it's Greg is going to be getting some pints bought for him by Steph at this rate at the end of season Super League do for the grand final. All right, this is the league table after 15 rounds. Of course, the eagle-eyed amongst you, don't forget, Leopards and the Warriors still have that game in hand when they take on each other. And this is not that week, by the way. This is the normal week. That's coming a bit later in the season. But the Warriors are top with that game in hand. Then it's the Saints and the Robins who are doing tremendously well. The Wolves, the Red Devils, and the Dragons holding on. They're having a bit of, after all that fanfare we've just given the Dragons in terms of the comp, they are in free fall in 2024 at this moment in time, but they are hanging on there, as you can see, to the 6th spot. Then it's the Leeds Rhinos, of course, closer again, having come through that game against Leigh, that emotional evening in round 15, the Rob Burrow game, of course. They're now just 2 points off the top 6. Then it's the Giants, Leopards, Tigers, Hull FC, Broncos. That's where we are. Right, let's get into the first game, and it's arguably the game of the week. It's the Wigan Warriors taking on the Leigh Leopards. Since 2005, they played each other 11 times, and it's 10 to the Warriors, 1 to the Leigh Leopards. The last 5 have all gone the way of Wigan over Leigh. In terms of the current form guide in Super League, 5 wins on the spin for Matty Pete. As you can see there, form has been improving slightly, but it really is now do or die time for the Leigh Leopards. They really do need to get on some sort of winning run if they are going to challenge that top 6 this year and give the likes of Tom Amone, Kai O'Donnell and co the fitting send-off that they deserve, a playoff place at the end of the season. first against 9th. As you can see, 403 plays 264 in the attacking stakes. Wigan 164 in defence to Leeds 226. Not too bad. 1-4 on the Warriors. 16-5 if you fancy the Leigh Leopards. The last time that Leigh beat Wigan was in 2017. 50 points to 34 at the LSB in round number 18. Since then, Wigan have beaten Leigh on 7 successive occasions with an average score of 32 points to 9. And you'd think that Leigh would be getting slightly better. Such was their competitiveness last year. Not at all. Since Leigh has returned back to Super League, believe it or not, they have still conceded 32 to Wigan in those games, albeit they have improved their attack by just the 1 point, 32 points to 10, as opposed to 32 points to 9. Wigan, no field for this one. Wardle and Lehman are also doubts. Kieran and Dupree will be back from their bans, and word on the street says that O'Brien, Mulhern and Asiata could return for the Wigan Warriors. 2 really good teams. When Leigh are on, they're on. Dare I say, Catalan Dragons game earlier in the season. If that Leigh Leopard shows up, Greg, we could be in for a really entertaining game on Friday night at the Brick Community Stadium.
Yeah. It's like the Tough Sheet Stadium in Bolton, isn't it? Who thinks these names up? Yeah, I think this is going to be a close one, to be honest. I think Leigh will be up for this. You don't know what's going to happen after a week off. It's the same as what's going to happen after a cup final and things like that. So I think this is going to be quite a close game, especially if Leigh have got some of those players back. I still see Wigan winning it, but I think Wigan 1-8. I don't think it's going to be quite. I don't think Wigan are going to quite have it their own way. I think it's going to be a close one. 1-8 Wigan.
Do you know what?
Well, it's obviously going to be 64-0 to Wigan now.
I'd love it 1-8 either way. Yeah, because let's be honest, that would be a very delicious game. I mean, we've just talked about the diabolical nature of the international game. Let's absolutely bask in the glory of this. We have got one hell of a roster on both sides on the field of play this coming Friday night. You know, you've got the French, not quite in the form that he has been in, but we know he's dynamite player. Moylan's in great form. You know, you got Lockie Lamb there. You know, you've just
you've also got the young kids who have come through at Wigan over the last few weeks as well.
You have. You've also got
Zach Eckersley's and players like that.
On the other side, mate, as well. Only on the other side. I see the back, you know, Amon against Thompson there. 2 good hookers in his Pape.
That's a good matchup.
Oh, mate, that could be outstanding. I mean, dear me, hold on. All I would say is before you go out on Friday to watch whatever team you're going to watch, make sure you screw down all your furniture because we could be having earthquakes coming from Leigh. That could be the epicenter when those two collide on Friday. This is what it's all about. Promote the greatest game on earth. Come on. Let's have a bit of action in round number 16. Steph, you hopefully will be there to see this one. Massive game for you. Could you do it? Could you?
Yeah, I'm not. I know. I'm at a Fat Boy Slim concert in Manchester. I know, crazy. I hadn't even. It was booked last year, so I'll be raving in Manchester, but having it on Sky on my phone.
I normally praise you, but not.
Oh, brilliant!
You know what I mean?
Hey, it's right here, right now. That's where it's
mate. Well, it's a good job we've got a caravan of love in a Fat Boy Slim kind of way. Moving on, mate.
Yeah. So no, unfortunately, I won't be there, but I will be tuning in. But yeah, I think it's really encouraging that we've got Asiata potentially coming back. Mulhern coming back is massive for us. And O'Brien as well. So we are getting back to what would be our probably starting 17. I think what I would say with that, though, is those players coming back are not going to be match fit. So, you know, they're going to take a few weeks to get back into it, especially you likes of Asiata, who's only played, I think, one full game this season. So, and also, the other interesting one's Farrimond in this one, obviously being a Leigh lad. You know, he actually got mentioned in Adrian Lamb's press conference today. I don't know whether Lamb's trying to sign him up, kind of thing, but that'd be an interesting one if we poached him back. I can't see Wigan letting him go, but no, he's got all the things. I mean, it's dead interesting that Wigan are the only team since we became the Leopards that we've not beaten in Super League now. So hopefully it's coming. Unfortunately, I don't see it in this game. I think Wigan are going to be that bit too strong for us. If we'd have had those players back a few weeks earlier and they were getting back to fitness, then I think it may be we may have a slightly better chance. But I think Wigan at home are going to just be a bit too good for us, and I've gone Wigan 9-17.
Wigan 9-17. Let's get into the chat then. I agree with Paul Bourman. I have to say, whatever happens, I want a good game. So do I.
Yeah.
Absolute belt to this. Lorraine's with us. Wigan 1-8. She's going, which is a good, same as Greg, as is Callum Calver. He's gone the same way. Nicola Burton back in her own team. Leigh 1-8. Wouldn't expect anything less from a leopard. Would you, Steph? Unbelievable. No. Get in there, Nicola. Show some faith. John Costello 1-16 for Wigan. Dawn Kirkby, Wigan 9-17. Peter Mason 30 points to 12. To Steph. I didn't know Steph was playing. I think he means Wigan there. Craig, he's going Wigan 1-8. Warriors 16-0. Rennox is going. So pretty much everybody there going the way of the Wigan Warriors. Gary Schofield's gone Wigan 18+. I'm going Wigan 9-17. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I will be. I think Wigan will win this one. Greg, as we've heard, 1-8. Joel's gone Wigan 1-8. And the fans form have gone Wigan 18+. Of course, we heard Steph say Wigan 9-17. So all the fingers pointing the way of the Wigan Warriors on Friday night. Right, let's move over now to the Halliwell Jones Stadium as the Huddersfield Giants come to town. Since 1998, it's Warrington 40, Huddersfield 22. The last 5, 3-2, a bit closer. You can see there Warrington have won the last 3, won 3 in the last 5. Just the 1 win in the last 5 for the Huddersfield Giants. It's 4th against 8th. Not an awful lot separating them in terms of places, albeit points is a bit different. Attack, 358 plays 298, 60-point difference there. Defence, Warrington 213 to Huddersfield's 317. Warrington are 1-4 on in this, 16-5 if you're a Huddersfield Giants fan and you like a little punt. Don't forget, go over to Rugby League 3/4. They'll be telling you all the accumulators and all that stuff as well. These have played 25 times at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, and Warrington have won 17 of those 25 times. Huddersfield's last win was a 26-20 win in round 6 of 2021. Only, here's an interesting one for you, Greg. This is a really interesting one. Only Josh Fewlis, Toby King, Ben Curry, Stephen Ratchford, Joe Greenwood, and Luke Yates, who were a part of that game, would have a chance of playing this week. I mean, that's unbelievable. When you think 3 years ago that took place, and that's how many players could potentially feature. Of course, Matty English is out on loan. If he was to be recalled and play, he also played on that day, and it's renowned. For those of you who know your history, it's renowned that game because it was the one that Greg Inglis scored a try for Warrington. We won't talk about that one. Anyway, Warrington.
Was that the one where Huddersfield were cruising at half time and we came back into it?
It was, and Mr. English.
Post-COVID, wasn't it? Yeah. It
was just after. He's spot on. Warrington have announced that Lachlan Fitzgibbon should return. That's a massive boost for the Wire. Crowther will not be there. Ashton 50-50. Huddersfield are still going to be without Swift, Murchie, Livette, and Cudjoe. So some big losses there for the Huddersfield Giants. Again, just going back to our In Conversation guest, Josh Griffin, big friends with Jake Connor. He had a bit to say about Jake's current plight as well. So you want to tune into that, members, when the link comes to you in the next 24 hours. And for those who aren't members, you'll be able to watch that a week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. But like I say, Josh doesn't hold back on all things Hull FC. Jake Connor, it's a really... and also... one of Greg's favourite friends, Mr. Kendall, his famous sending off against Saints. He has something to say about that and all. So, well worth a watch. Well worth a watch. Right, let's get into this one. I'll start with you, Steph, because it's Warrington. Warrington against Huddersfield. Really looking forward to seeing Greg Roach in the flesh on Friday night and having a beer with him before the game. Really looking forward to that. What's your thoughts? The Giants and the Wolves, where's it going to go, Steph?
I think... I mean, it's no coincidence Huddersfield's form has just gone off a cliff since Swift has been injured. I think it's really affected Huddersfield. I think that, because he was the one who was getting over the line for him consistently, and obviously you link that with the Connor troubles and stuff. You can see where they've been derailed a bit. Wire's form's been pretty bad as well since Wembley, hasn't it? So I think the I think the week off has probably give Warrington a chance to maybe regroup a little bit, have a bit of time off, and it's a bit like a restart the season, not stop the season now, restart the season now kind of thing. So yeah, I think that will really benefit Warrington. But Huddersfield, one thing they have done this season is travelled quite well. The games where they have picked up wins have been away from home. So I think for me, it all depends on which side turns up on the night. If they both turn up, it could be a real classic. I just think Sam will have got into Warrington, and I think they'll just have a bit too much for Huddersfield. I've gone 9-17 wire.
9-17 wire. I have to giggle. I have to say it. Neil Rennox has done you there in the chat. Farriman, born in Leigh, polished in Wigan. That's a beauty. There
is a saying about polishing in something, isn't there?
There's one thing that Mr. Farriman isn't. He isn't one of those.
No.
Absolutely outstanding. Dawn saying that Farriman signed a 4-year deal at the start of the season contract. Mean nothing, Dawn. All I would say is this. Farriman, based on that, what he did last week, if he carries on playing like that, Field, French, Smith and Farriman, 4 into 3 places just doesn't go. And all 4 are starters. So could be interesting. Could be really interesting. Would it be Field? Could Field be the one? I don't know. Going to be interesting. Going to be, if Farriman carries on the way he is, that's going to be one to watch. Greg, back to the Halliwell Jones. It's fair to say, last outing at Halliwell, really, really poor against the Salford Red Devils. It was a shocking display. They need to bounce back big time here, back in front of the home crowd on Friday.
They do. People perceive it as a bad performance. It wasn't that bad. It was just that Salford were that much better when they got the ball in hand and moved it. And there were three tries from nothing in the first half after we dominated for about 20 minutes. And again, the age-old adage with Warrington: get 10 yards from the line, they can't get through the defence. And going back to what Steph said about a week off, if there's one team that perennially doesn't benefit from a week off, it's Warrington. We seem to make a cabbage of it every time we have a week off. Huddersfield have been travelling well. Huddersfield came back well last time out. I think Warrington will win. I think it'll be 9-17. I don't think it'll be the walkover that a lot of people are predicting. I think Warrington 9-17. I think Huddersfield will put up a good performance. Steve's saying they were shocking. Now, I've watched the game back, to be honest. The heads went down after that third try went in from Salford. First 20 minutes, they looked decent, and they just were hit on the counter 3 times in that first half and came back well in the second half, to be honest. Could have actually won the game, even though they didn't deserve it in the second half. But I think going back to the Huddersfield game, I think 9-17, I think Huddersfield will put up a good performance. I hope Warrington don't go 12-0 up, because they seem to put the cue on the rack when they go 12-0 up. I hope it's competitive early on, and I hope Huddersfield put a good performance in. Got a real soft spot for Huddersfield. But I've got to say this time, Warrington 9-17.
Cabbages on Super League Raw, courtesy of the Nixon. He was rubbing his Swede at the Salford game, and hopefully he will be sprouting loud and proud at Halliwell Jones Stadium this weekend.
The sausage rolls at Salford, Reggie.
It's always sausage rolls.
Sausage roll at Salford. Right, let's get into the chat. Dawn Baker, wire 9-17. Paul Boardman, wire by 20. Neil Rennick saying wire by 12. Pete Mason, Warrington 20. 10 for the Huddersfield Giants. John Costello, wire 9-14. Win. Nicola Burton will go on the wire 9-17. Craig Forth, 9-17. Dawn Kirkby the same. Lorraine's going Warrington. Is anybody going Huddersfield? No, nobody's going Huddersfield. Gary Schofield's going wire by 22. I'm going wire 9-17. Joel is going wire 9-17, as is the fans forum. So everybody going the way of the Warrington Wolves. Right, another game on Friday night. If I'm right in thinking this, yes, I am. It's the Saints taking on Castleford Tigers. Since 1996, it's 52-10 to Saints. Wow, just wow. The last 5 have all gone the way of the Saints as well. The form guide, 4 wins, and of course that loss to Salford last time out for the Saints. It's a long time ago now, that win for the Castleford Tigers. They've lost 4 in the last 5. It's second against 10, 423 points scored by the Saints this season to 238 for Castleford. Look at the points against as well. 1-6 on the Saints. The Tigers 8-1 if you fancy that. Don't get me wrong, Castleford will be buoyed by their recent form against Wigan and KR, losing by 2 and 1 point respectively, albeit both were at the Jungle. They weren't on away soil. The Saints will, of course, want to hit back after that defeat, 20 points to 18 to the Red Devils in round number 15. Castleford last beat St Helens in round 10 of the 2022 season, 30 points to 10 at the Jungle. The last win at Saints was the season before that, 2021, in round 19, a 20 points to 10 win. A certain Greg Eden scored a brace. We like a bit of Greg Eden on Super League Raw. St Helens, Knowles and Lomax to be confirmed and may return for this one. Batchelor, Whitley and Makerson all definitely out. McShane 50-50 is what we're hearing for Castleford. Mustafa may return. Right. We'll start with you, Greg. What's your thoughts on this one? Like I say, you've got to give Castleford a lot of credit. They've come up against 2 top 3 teams the last 2 games, and they've only lost by 3 points collectively.
Yeah, they have.
Will be that game where sensibility kicks in and Saints do a number on them?
Yes, in a word. I think Saints 52-10 could quite possibly be the final score. I think as well as Castleford have done, I think Saints have got to start kicking in and clicking now. And I think this quite possibly might be the game where it clicks. People are saying Saints aren't playing well. They're still top of Super League. It's not been the flea. I'm having trouble tonight. The free-flowing rugby that we're used to, the entertainers, the wide to west. But I think Saints now have got to start putting it together. And I think Saints are probably one of those teams that will benefit from a week off to reset and to go again. And I think they're going to win comfortably. I think it's going to be 18 plus.
18 plus, right? Yeah. Okay, Steph. 18 plus from Greg. Castleford, can they do it again? I mean, maybe they won't win, but can they keep it close like they have the last 2?
Well, the form at the moment is not bad, is it? I think every credit's got to be given to Cass, because they could have rolled over and had the belly tickled this year, couldn't they? In terms of the way they started the season, and they have. I've said it before, but since they brought those young players in from Hull KR, that seems to have made a difference, and also our friend from Hull FC as well, who's playing quite well at the moment for them. So it's a really interesting game. I do want to say that how stupid is it? We've got 4 games on Friday night. No Thursday.
3. 2 on 3. Yeah, 3 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday.
Is it? I thought it was 4. Oh, well, that's me being daft then. But anyway, it's still stupid. We've not got a Thursday night game. So, which is a prime. It's that for me. The reason I'm saying that is Thursday night now is now a Super League slot, isn't it? Everyone thinks it's a Thursday night game, and again, this comes down to marketing consistency.
Well, it's always down to forward thinking as well, because surely someone somewhere might have thought that on Sunday or Saturday, may have an England game.
Yeah.
Surely somebody at some point has had a look at fixtures, and the Sky are quite happy to bring fixtures forward and change them at the drop of a hat when it suits them.
Yeah,
and I think it's the KR game that clashes with the England game.
No
game on Thursday. I know that might not benefit certain people, but could you not brought the KR game forward to the Thursday?
Greg, call me controversial, mate. I think I've probably watched combined 70 minutes of England in this championship. There's only one game I'm watching on Saturday.
Oh, me too. Me too, mate. Me too. I mean, if England aren't the greatest, England football aren't the greatest advert for rugby league, this is where the RFL, their PR team, their marketing team, should be making a killing on the fact that football's our national sport, and yet, anyway, they should be making a killing on the fact that this is our national sport, and the dross that team has served up over 4 games is unbelievable.
Anyway, that's enough of England. Let's carry on.
I digress.
Back to Super League.
Back to a proper sport.
I agree with Neil, actually, that Wigan and Leeds should have been on Thursday night, and then I could have gone instead of gone blue Fat Boy Slim. Anyway, yeah, that should have been the Thursday night game, 100%. But yeah, I think Alex has Welland's got a 2-year contract. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
That Alex put in the thing he's got a 2-year contract. I don't know if that's true or not, but
well, I don't know about that.
No, I've not heard it either. I don't know. He just put it in the chat. So, but it would be funny if they did lose after they've just given him a 2-year. I think it's a Castleford. I think Saints are gonna. I think Reggie's right. I think the rest would have done Saints the world of good, and I think it's going to be 18 plus Saints. I hope it's not.
Neil Rennick thinks the same. Peter Mason says Saints 34-6. I'm also getting grief in terms of my odds. Sorry, Pete, I haven't got time to go all around the betting ones, mate. You know, I just go with Betfred. They're the sponsor of Super League, so that's where I go, mate. I'm sorry, and they change all the time. So you know, once to put the slide together, mate, it could be wrong, but hey,
they probably change it off our predictions.
Yeah, it's there for guidance, mate. It's there for guidance. Nothing more, nothing less. Alex Sharp, Cash 128, celebrate Welland's New Year contract. There it is. Neil Rennick, if Tigers win, I'll show my backside on the hard one. No, don't do that. Just donate 20 quid to MND.
Let's hope Saints win.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It's a lot safer. Just 20 quid to MND. You know what I mean? We don't want to see your bum, Neil. In fact, we'd be delighted if that was the score. So we'd be all happy anyway. So 20 quid to MND. That'll do you nicely, mate. Is what I would say on that one. Nicola Burton Wood, Saints 9-17. Dawn Kirkby, Saints 18 plus. I mean, I don't have any love at all there for Castleford. Here's one for you. Gary Schofield sees it Saints by 42. I think you said 52-10 a minute ago, Greg. Saints 18 plus, I'm going. Joel's gone Saints 9-17. The fans' form have gone Saints 18 plus. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we're very close. We've done the first 3 games. What you don't see is underneath the table, our legs are proper like stamping because it's time for a toilet break here at Super League Raw, just so we have energy for the last 3 games. So whilst we're doing that, you know what? Have you thought, are you remember yet? If you're not a member, then why aren't you a member? Time to get closer. Let's go and refresh our glasses, boys, and we'll be back in a moment.
Are inviting you to become part of the fastest growing online community in Rugby League. Your contribution will enable us to continue to improve our current programmes and allow us to develop more so that you can enjoy Rugby League 7 days a week. Our 3 membership tiers provide everyone with an opportunity to create new friendships and experiences with like-minded Rugby League enthusiasts. 18th man membership. You will be supporting the work we do and contribute to our ongoing development. You will be entered into every prize draw as well as our monthly online quizzes. You will also have the opportunity of winning a season ticket by entering a team into the Super League Raw Mini Fantasy League. And you will also get a car window sticker to show that you're a part of this community. 6 again members. You will have increased entries into our prize draws and fantasy leagues. You will have increased shout-outs during Super League Raw every single week. You will have access to the Super League Raw WhatsApp group where you can talk with other members every single day. You will have 1 week advanced screening of our latest In Conversation With, and you will also have 3 invitations to the Final Whistle podcast recordings where you can have your say on the week's action. You will also be invited to a pre-game drink with Greg and I before your team's Warrington Wolves game at the Halliwell Jones. Team Talk membership. You get the maximum 3 entries into our prize draws and into our fantasy league. You will also have the opportunity to submit your question to the latest In Conversation guest, and you will be invited to every Final Whistle podcast where you will become a star of the show alongside the Super League Raw team. Membership starts from as little as £2.99 per month, so why not substitute a latte for 7 days of rugby league analysis and entertainment? Don't hesitate. Visit Patreon now and become a part of the fastest growing universal rugby league community online.
So there you go. That's how you do it. After the show, go over, have a quick look at our memberships, and do come and join the long list that are watching us this evening. The Super League Raw community. We are growing all the time. And actually, do you know what? Now's as good a time as any. Let's just say it as it is. Only members, and here it comes, ladies and gentlemen, only members who join between now and the end of July. That's it. Between now and the end of July, only members that join between now and then will be entitled to be in the draw to join the Super League Raw team at this year's Grand Final. That's right. One of you lucky people will be coming to the Grand Final with the Super League Raw team. You'll meet us at the Piccadilly Tap, as always, for a few beverages before the game. We'll be going down to the game. We'll be watching the game together. You will be able to come and join me and the boys to watch the Grand Final in 2024. But only those members that are part of this membership by the end of July will be in that free prize draw. That's one not to be missed. Come and join the gang at the Super League party that is the Grand Final this year. Good a time as any to mention that. I'll keep mentioning it as we go through the month of July. Right, okay, Leeds Rhinos take on the London Broncos. Here we go, 35-11 since 1996. That's interesting, though. The last 5, 3-2 in Super League. That's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? As you can see, London, 5 losses on the spin. Currently, that's their form. 2 wins for the Rhinos. They will be buoyed, of course, by that win at the Rob Burrow Tribute Night against the Leigh Leopards. A great win as well. Brodie Croft, outstanding. Let's not forget that. It's 7 against 12. As you can see there, the for and against in terms of the attack, 274 for the Leeds Rhinos, 140 points scored for the Broncos. Defence, 270 for the Rhinos, 598 conceded for the Broncos. 1-80, but it's good news for you London Broncos fans. For the last few weeks, you haven't even been given odds by the bookies. You've got odds this week. You've actually got odds. Leeds have been given 1-80. That they've not been given any recently. The team that you've been playing, but they are 1-80. So you stand the chance in this. 14-1. Last outing was at Headingley, of course, in round number 10 between these two this season. 46-8. If you cast your mind back. One of Leeds' wins this season came at the mercy of London. London's last win at Headingley was round number 6 of the 2019 season, 18 points to 16. Leeds are expected to have Andy Ackers back from HIA, Sam Lizone and Tom Holroyd also as well. No new concerns have been announced for the London Broncos, and Dean Parata may return, and Jack Campagnolo, he's been in training as well. No word that he's broken down or anything. He was in training before the break, so there's a chance that he may return as well for the London Broncos. So that's good news for them as well. Right, we'll start with yourself, Greg. Leeds Rhinos, they will probably want to kick on now, won't they?
Yeah. They've got the emotion of the game a couple of weeks ago out of the way. The emotion of obviously losing a coach. I think Leeds are going to win this quite comfortably, 18+.
Wow.
Not a lot more I can add to it. I'd be very, very, very surprised if London even push them close. Never mind win. 18+ to Leeds.
As Jim Bowen once said on Bullseye when somebody said they didn't know the answer on the quiz, thanks for saving us time. Let's move on to Steph. Steph, your thoughts on the Leeds-London game?
I think it might be a case of here's what you could have won.
But you know.
No.
It's better than a speedboat.
The sofa. DFS finest.
DFS sofa.
Yeah.
Chrome light switches.
Yeah, it's going in Alex's house, what I won off him. So, yeah.
Where's it going in Alex's house?
No, well, we'll see. No, it's you'd like to think that the win against Leigh will have galvanised the Leeds team. I think that's. I think it's just what that club needed in terms of bringing everyone together. And I think having that week off to get over the emotion of all that, and I think it's the perfect opponent to get London at home for Leeds. Obviously, they've got Newman and Hanley back now as well, which I think were big losses for Leeds. Even in that League game, I think they did miss those two, as good as the people who filled in played for them. So I am expecting a comfortable Leeds win. I've got 18+.
18+ for the Leeds Rhinos. Of course, Greg has already said the same thing. No surprises. Gary Schofield, he's gone Leeds. He's saying by 48. He sees this as a massive win for Leeds to Schofield. I'm going Leeds 18+, as is the fans forum, as is Joel, of course. And as we always say, we wish our Joel well. We're looking forward to having him back in the not too distant future. So it'd be great to have him back in the next few weeks. I'm sure he's watching us this evening. Right, okay. Hull KR taking on the Catalan Dragons. This is the second game on Saturday. Should be a belter at Craven Park. Really, really should be. The history since 2007, no surprises. Catalan, of course, been in great form over the last few years. 25-11 in the favour of the Dragons. The last 5, 4-1 in favour of the Dragons as well. The form, though, coming in, Willie Peters' men 4 on the spin, trying to make it 5. The Dragons, 3 losses in between 2 wins there, as you can see. They are in free fall. Hull KR have really cemented their top 6 ambitions in the last 5 weeks. As for the Dragons, they have been dropping quickly. You can see there where the main problem is. It's in the attack, 383 for the Robins, 288 for the Dragons. The defence is stronger on KR's side as well. 1-3 on the Robins, 12-5 the Catalan Dragons. Now, if you look at Craven Park, you can see there 25-11 in favour of the Dragons. At Craven Park since 2007, it's 9-6, so a lot closer, a lot closer. 9-6, still in the favour of the Dragons, but a lot closer. Okay, I've scored 71 tries to Catalans 47 this season, and it is, of course, try scoring that's been pretty barren for the Dragons. I mean, Greg mentioned about Warrington, not getting much strike once they're in the strike zone. Well, is there a team worse than the Dragons at the moment with regards to that? Plenty of territory, not getting the punching power to get over the line. And here's an interesting side one on this one, gents, as well. No fewer than 11 Catalan Dragons players played this weekend in that the France-England game. If you turn it on the other side, only Minchella and Lewis for Hull KR. Could that factor into this one as well? But of course, let's not forget, it was against KR that Catalans probably had their best performance of the season this year in round 8 of Super League, where they beat KR 36 points to 6 in Perpignan. So there's a lot of narrative here. It depends which way you want to really see it. It's an interesting one, Steph. What's your thoughts on it? Again, should be a belting game.
Yeah, I think this has got potential to be a game of the week for me. But I think it's a very valid point you make in terms of the amount of Catalan players that played this week and haven't had a rest. And then they've also got to travel to Hull, which is not the easiest place to travel to either. On top of the flying, you've also got to go up to Hull, which is another trip in itself. If you look at the form as well, Hull KR are flying at the moment, aren't they? And Craven Park is just a fortress at the moment. So, having seen both teams recently, I do think Hull KR are going to be too strong for them. I don't think it's going to be a battering, but I do see Hull KR doing them 9-17.
9-17, Greg, where are you at?
Yeah, I'm with Steph, and a couple of other people have commented that this could turn out to be the game of the week simply because it's so unpredictable. It should be predictable. We should predict a very good Hull KR win. But I'm not so sure. I'm with Steph. I think Dragons need to bounce back. I think they did have a lot of players in that team last week. Sometimes playing consecutive weeks, playing week in, week out, can be a lot better than a week off. And I think that, that there's a lot to be said for the Hull KR atmosphere. The travelling with Catalan is an issue, as Steph has said. But I think Catalan have underperformed this season as a whole, to be honest. And I think they'll want to put that right. Don't quite think this is the weekend they'll do it, but I think they'll put a good performance in, and I think KR will just about do it 9-17.
Fair play. In the chat, let's get in there. Paul Bourbon's gone KR by 20. Don Kirby, you wouldn't expect anything less. 9-17 to the Robins. Neil Rennick's by 12. He's going in there. Let's have a quick look. Any more? No, not many people getting involved. I think everybody pretty much thinking this could be a KR win. This is the way I see this one, gents. I mean, had Hull KR of won in Perpignan, I'd have felt a little bit that Catalan, maybe this would have been a bit closer. I think the fact that KR lost it, and they lost it badly, and KR are in incredible form. Not only are they going into this game in great form, they've got that in the back of their head. Let's be fair, they were embarrassed. I mean, they were embarrassed. The way KR were playing, they went over there, the preparation was right. They went days in advance. They should not have been turned over 36 points to 6 in France. They were, especially when you consider what Huddersfield did to him in the Cup. It was a real embarrassment if you're Hull KR. And Leigh, sorry, Steph. Yeah, that's right. And Leigh. So, from a KR perspective, that is an embarrassing scoreline that I think they're going to want to correct. Catalans aren't in great form. They've not been showing much attacking prowess. That said, Abdul will be well up for this, won't he? Absolutely well up for it. But I'm going 18 plus. I'm going 18 plus KR. I think KR, because of that loss and because they're in good form anyway, and because, let's be fair, 11 Catalan players played in that French team. And no matter what we say about the fans and the production and this, that, the other, you would hope it meant something to the French players. So to have been beaten by England again in the manner they were beaten will have hurt them. That will have affected them mentally. I think all things point here that if KR show up the way they have been playing, I think all things point to an 18-plus comfortable win for KR. I could be wrong. Gary Schofield sees it the same. He's gone KR by 24. Joel has gone KR 1-8. He sees this close, which is interesting. And the fans forum are seeing it KR 9-17. All for Hull KR, the team. Right, okay. Well, we're going to now start debating the final game of the round. And this is an interesting one, as well as the Salford Red Devils take on Hull FC. And we saw a much improved Hull FC against the Warrington Wolves. Of course, they won the week before as well against Leeds. So, Hull are showing signs that they're improving. If you look at the head-to-heads, 37-17 in the favour of Hull FC since 1998. The last four, though, look at the last five, 4-1 to the Salford Red Devils. Salford come into this on a 3-game winning streak. They'll be wanting to make that a 4, 5th against 11th. The attack, nearly 100 points difference. Defence, nearly 200 points difference. 2-9 on the Red Devils, 100-30. Hull FC. Salford have won the last 3, including, of course, the double in 2023. Hull FC have not won at Salford since 2019. Hull FC have conceded an average of 31 points per game this season, but in the last 3, that has reduced to 17. The bad news is that in the same 3 games, Salford have averaged a scoring ratio of 26. So there's still improvement to be done there. Salford, Ryan Briley may return. Lafay still a doubt. Hull FC, Danny Houghton may return, but would you drop Balfour for him at the moment? Let's have a debate about that as we discuss in this, gents. Would you drop Denis Balfour for returning Danny Houghton? I know I wouldn't. Doubts for this over Leigh Sow, Cam Scott, Joe Cater, and definitely out is Jack Ashworth. That's the word on the street in this one. But yeah, let's start with you, Steph. First of all, in fact, let's just do that really quickly. Both of you, Steph, Balfour or Houghton?
Well, based on form, current form, you'd keep Balfour in, but there's room for 2 hookers, isn't there? So I'd start on their bench. I think the thing is with Houghton is his defence and his tackles. That's what he brings to the team, and also that leadership as well. So I think there's room for both of them, but I would probably start Balfour.
Fair enough. Greg?
Yeah, agree. Bring Houghton off the bench.
Fair play. Completely agree. Like I say, 2019, the last time, Greg, that Hull FC got a win at the Salford Community Stadium. That's a long time between drinks. Can they do it? They are showing signs of improvement. SA, class. Truman's getting back into the groove. Balfour's in great form. They put a scare on Warrington the week before. A good win the week before that against Leeds.
Yeah. Leeds, you got to remember that Leeds this was the tail end of the Smith era. They hadn't been put together for whatever reason. Leeds weren't playing as a team. Warrington were out of sorts. And really, Warrington should have put the game to bed and allowed Hull to come back into it with some poor play, some poor decisions. I think, yes, Hull have improved, but Salford will be buoyed by their last performance. I think Salford are going to win this comfortably 18 plus.
It's a big shout. It's a big shout.
No, Salford. I think Salford, after that Saints game, will have belief. As long as that belief doesn't bite them on the bum when they become too cocky, I think they're going to win this quite comfortably 18 plus.
Fair play. Les, we care because we love rugby league. Les is saying in the chat, it's a dead rubber, nobody cares. I do. I think this could be a little gem. This could be the diamond in the rough. You know, this could be the Aladdin.
Well, the Salford Saints game was game of the week.
Yeah, it could be the Aladdin job. Cave of Wonders stuff, this. Don't rub the lamp, as they say.
It matters because Leeds are chasing Salford. Leigh and Huddersfield are chasing Salford. So, you know, I think all of us will be rooting for a Hull FC win here in terms of that respect.
I'm not.
Heavily, Steph, not necessarily.
But no, I mean, what you've got to remember with Salford, as good as they've been this year, is that the lower teams they've actually underperformed against. Typically, I would go for London away. Castleford. Yeah. So, you know, the teams that they're expected not to beat, they've brought in really good performances against. The teams are expected to win, they haven't. So, and I would couple that with the fact that Hull FC have improved a lot since the start of the season. They put some very good performances in recently. I think this has got the potential to be a really good game. On form, you'd say Salford should batter them, but I don't think that'll be the case. But I do think Salford will win. I think that they will have enough, and I think I went 9-17.
You did. It's a good point. It's a good point. You know, they lost to Castleford. You'd have expected them to beat that. They even lost to Leeds. I mean, you'd have thought that. You know, 22 points to 16. Alex, who's watching, you know, that was a bit of a surprise as well. That they didn't manage to turn Leeds over. But anyway, that's about it. You know, what can you say? Get ready, boys. Get ready. Here we go. Let's reel it. Here we go. Any minute now, the bite will happen, I'm sure. Anyway, we go to Gary Schofield. He's gone Salford 22 by 22 points. I'm going Salford 9-17, as is Joel. And the fans form see it comfortable 18 plus for the Salford Red Devils. No love in the chat for Hull FC, which is really, really surprising. And do you know what? Of all of the games this weekend, this could be the surprise of all of them.
Yeah.
I think Wigan will be too strong for Leigh. I'm sorry, I do. I do think that'll be the case. I think Warrington should beat Huddersfield. We'd expect Saints to win. You expect Leeds to win. I'd expect KR to win. But this is the one of all of the games. The way Hull FC, they're just growing up. And again, I've got to give credit to Grixer. I think what he's done since he's took charge of that team, you know, fair play to him, deserves a lot of credit. And if they were to turn, let's be fair, a very good Salford Red Devils over at the weekend, it's going to be a very interesting chat from the Final Whistle podcast on Sunday, because, of course, that will be available for you to listen to. Round number 16's Final Whistle podcast will be recorded with the Team Talk members. You members out there that are Team Talk members, make sure you keep your eye out on your emails. That invitation will be coming your way over the weekend. Make sure you join us for a quality bit of debating all of the round 16 games this Sunday night. And, of course, for everybody who watches us and listens to us, just make sure that you download the podcast so that you can listen to it to work on Monday morning or on your way home from work. Here we go. What's Alex saying? He's here. Alex, Dave, that win Leeds got hammered for Salford, running them so close, as was the first game of the season, as Salford lost everyone. Well, no one's saying that now. Ha ha. I think what he's basically saying is that, you know, Leeds fans gave Leeds a bit of grief because the margin wasn't very big, but based on his form. You know, I'm just doing a bit of subtitles for you, Alex.
I'm glad you can speak Alex, Dave.
Yeah,
he's been taking lessons off Joe Biden, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, steady on. We don't do politics, right, ladies and gentlemen? We've got time for a couple of questions. We do this most weeks, so if you've got a burning question you'd like us to debate over the next 5 minutes, then put it in the chat now. Whilst you're doing that, just gives me enough time to remind you what is coming up. This has to be done, ladies and gentlemen. The quiz night on the 17th of July.
Yes, it does.
8 p.m. Make sure you're there. 2 tickets for Magic Saturday. That's what you're playing for. Cracking stuff. Go and get your tickets now on Eventbrite after the show. Members, you don't have to do a thing. You're automatically invited. Make sure you're there. Like I say, go to Eventbrite. Just pop in Super League Raw. The actual link for this is in the description. So if you're on YouTube, just click the description of what we're talking about tonight. You'll see it there. And if you're on Facebook, the same. It's there for you to just click, go over, get your tickets, be a part of the quiz. It's a great quiz. It's a good laugh. It's a good giggle. And who knows, you could be joining us for Saturday Magic Weekend. That will be brilliant. And as already, of course, announced tonight, become a member. If you're a member in July, you are automatically then going to be entitled to be in a free prize draw in that respect. We're not going to be doing a quiz or anything like that. It's just a prize draw. Get yourself in there. You as a member, only members will be involved in that prize draw. If your name comes out of it, ladies and gentlemen, you could be coming to the Super League Grand Final with the boys.
I don't know whether that's a question from Neil about what happened last Tuesday.
Well, actually, Neil, thanks for that, because actually it allows me to clarify a few things. So last week, of course, we had a delay in Super League Raw. It went out on the Wednesday, and it will be on Wednesday next week as well, because on Tuesday of next week I can't. I'm working, so on Tuesday of next week I am working. Therefore, it's going to move to Wednesday. Also, ladies and gentlemen, do forgive me. I've booked a holiday. Yes, I've booked a holiday. I'm so sorry, but I've booked a holiday. I'm going on holiday. I fly out on the 29th, and I come back the week before Magic. The Super League Raw.
Where are we going?
Pardon?
Where are we going?
I'm going to Cyprus, babe. Going to Cyprus.
Brilliant. I went a couple of years ago. It's lovely, Steph. We'll love it.
It's a lovely place. It's a lovely place.
We're going live from Cyprus.
Live from Cyprus. No, so I'll be over in Cyprus. So what we're going to do between now and when I go away, Super League Raw Weekly and its current guys will not be there. But what we will do is we will record something for you where we will preview the games that are coming up that week. And what we're trying to get is a couple of special guests to do a little bit of an interview with for the first part of the show. So you will still have a Super League Raw Weekly, albeit won't be live. Simple as that. Hopefully Steph will sit in the chair for the Final Whistle podcast, and that's just the way it's going to be for 2 weeks. But we will be back on the Tuesday before Magic Weekend for a full show like we know.
What date is that, Dave?
That's the week before. So if Magic's the 17th, it would be the 14th. I'm guessing.
I'm back from my holiday.
Yeah, we're both back. We're both back for that one. So no, it's the 13th.
With you inside.
Yes, we're the 13th. The 13th. So we're back on the 13th for that. So that's just allowed us to clarify that. So a bit of moving and shaking at the moment. Hopefully you don't mind that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you appreciate. I've got a day life. I've got 2 kids and a wife, and I do give a lot of time for this and your enjoyment. Right. Okay. Anything. Wednesday will be in the final. If they win, Dave, they're not going to win. So I'm not really that worried about that. So we'll cross those bridges when we come to them, Alex. We will cross those bridges when we come to it. No questions tonight.
There must be some questions.
There must be some questions.
There has to be a question. Put something in there. Come on.
Right. Winter Rugby League, yes or no? Put it in the chat. Yes or no?
Well, I don't want Winter Rugby League.
Put it in the chat. Yes or no? Winter Rugby League.
I don't want Rugby League.
I'd watch Rugby League in any weather. I don't care.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I would, but I just think for me now,
Perpignan's not as good in the winter. I've been in February. It's not as good as June, so I'll say summer.
Well, Warrington always play him in February anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I wouldn't want to go back to Winter Rugby League, and I think that I think as you were saying, Steph, as well, to keep them side by side. We've already we said at the start of the show tonight in terms of international rugby league, it makes it easier.
Yeah,
they're making a pig's ear of it. They're making a pig's ear of it, but it makes it easier.
What's that? Mike Owen? That's not the Mike Owen, is it?
Michael Owen.
Yeah. Great goal.
Let's have a look. So what's Mike saying? Just put Salford down for a loss like you do most weeks. Still getting over Steph. Must be a superstar to miss Leigh, Wigan, Springsteen, U2, Stereophonics, it's Fatboy Slim, good vibes. Not quite sure what Mike's getting out there. Again, I'm trying my best for subtitles. I can't quite get him on that one.
We'll back Salford to win.
Right, here's a question. Here's a better question. How many of the England squad would you keep in for Samoa? So I'm guessing, Callum, he's talking there about the starting 17. So let's just remind ourselves. So first and foremost, let's go through the squad. Jack Wellesby, does he stay in for Samoa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tom Johnston and Ash Hanley on the wings.
No.
Dom Young comes in, surely.
Dom Young's got to come in. It's a difficult one, that, isn't it? Between Johnston and Hanley. On form, I'd probably do Hanley.
Well, hang on.
Josh Newlis.
No, I would say Ashton, Marshall.
All right. Ashton
Oh,
Marshall.
yeah.
Liam Marshall.
True, man. Yeah.
But for me, I don't think either of them start against Samoa, if I'm being honest. Johnston's not a good try at the weekend, but Johnston's not been in great form this season.
No.
I put Marshall, I put Ashton in before either of them.
Marshall for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Centres, boys, Sam Wood, Harry Newman.
No.
Herbie Farnworth, defo.
Farnworth definitely
Farnworth.
coming in.
Defo. Who are you putting in as the other centre?
Well, Jake Wardle's done well.
Wardle's a shout.
Yeah.
Wardle is a shout.
Yeah, it's
Good
got to be
shout.
Wardle on it, yeah.
Now, Williams, people will argue on this one, but, Williams is captain, and as long as Sean Wayne is coach of England, George Williams is number 6. Whether you like that or not, ladies and gentlemen, George Williams will play. Harry Smith at 7.
Mark Sneed.
Do you know what, though? On form.
Mark Sneed.
On form, it's a shout, isn't it?
It is, but at that level, I don't. Sneed's not an international. For me, he's not an international.
I'd like to see him given a chance. I know
It's a bit like the Leigh Briers conversation, isn't it? With Eddie Hemmings with Leigh Briers. You'd like to see it, but Sneed, as good as he's playing and thinking at the top, you can't not put Harry Smith in over Sneed.
No, Smith, and let's be fair, Smith has done it in the big games, hasn't
he? Is Harry Smith?
Mark Sneed's not the World Club champion.
Yes, but if he played for Wigan, he would be. Is Harry Smith a better kicker than Harry Smith?
No,
and I'm not talking conversions. Harry Smith is good, but
Harry Smith's a better controller of the overall game.
But hang on, I mean, this is a good chat, lads. You say that, though, Steph, but Mark Sneed isn't playing in the Wigan Warriors team.
Yeah,
no, he's not. But that's why he stands out.
Yeah, but so what would he do in the Wigan Warriors shirt?
Yeah, exactly. This is my point.
It's a good point that Reggie's making there. You put Harry Smith in Salford's team. Salford? Would Salford be where they are this year?
It's like saying what's better, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea.
Cup of tea every day of the week, mate.
Yeah.
Look, Steph, you put your salty caramel away, right? We're talking rugby now, right? Yeah. So rugby league, right? If you did salty caramel lattes last week, you wouldn't either. Anyway, right, it's on for 1 week. We're talking lattes, Reggie. But anyway, look, the bottom line is though, Steph, just do me a favour, yes or no? If Harry Smith was playing for Salford this season, would they be where they are now?
Yes.
I completely disagree.
Well,
but that's what makes sport interesting.
I think you asked the Wigan Warriors how good Harry Smith is, the number 7.
He's class, but he's playing. He's playing behind a dominant pack with world-class players in every position.
Yeah, he is. I totally get that. And Sneed, don't get me wrong. I think Sneed's brilliant. I think he's a really, really, really good player. But I just think he's coming to the end of his career now. And when we're talking about building international players, he's left it a little bit too late. And I think Harry Smith has got to be given the opportunity for me.
Right. Okay. Well, look, always interesting chats, boys. Let's get into the forwards. Luke Thompson, Matty Leigh started. Thompson, yes. Lees for me, no. I'll probably still put Burgess in before him.
Yeah.
Burgess is still... This will be his last one, I think. But I think Burgess still probably has that one for me. Yay? No?
I don't think Leeds is far away, though.
Leeds, for me, is a tackling prop forward.
Yeah.
He's not a bruising prop forward. He's a workhorse prop forward. I mean, let's not forget Walmsley will be back, whether he'll be fit enough or not.
I'd be probably going with Dupree.
Or Dupree, yeah.
Dupree.
If you're going to go for who, we talked him up saying he should be going to the NRL. So if he's going to the NRL, he should be starting as our prop.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's your vegan prop?
Who's vegan prop?
Who's the vegan prop at Leigh? What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Mulhern. Maybe Mulhern.
Mulhern.
Yeah,
Mulhern's
Mulhern's a good player, mate. But again, he's not
worth a shout.
He's not fashionable, but yeah,
he's not fashionable. But I tell you what, he puts the hard yards in.
He's a bench. He's on the bench.
Yeah,
I think he's worth a shout.
Yeah. Well, actually, interesting. Just looked at Pete Mason. He put Lewis in over Williams.
If Leeds is starting against France, Mulhern's on the bench. As a minimum, I'd say Mulhern's better than Leeds.
Now the Saints fans start spitting the coffee out on the tea or whatever they prefer. Neil Reddick said he's Irish, mate. There is no nationality in rugby league. Come on, get with the programme. Number 9.
No, it's a good point.
It is a good point, but he'll still have.
He might have played for.
Yeah, his grandma's mother's dog was English, mate. He
was in the England squad last year. Mulhern.
Yeah. He's there. Anyway, number 9.
He was on about Sneed.
No. Let's go 9. Who's your hookers? Who's going number 9?
Brad O'Neill.
I'd have go on, Greg.
I'm not sure on 9.
I go Daz Clark. I still think Daz Clark's the best number 9 in the comp.
But he won't because Shane won again.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, Shane.
Wayne. He won't because of Sean Wayne. Yeah. When Daz Clark was in his prime, Sean Wayne refused to start with him on most occasions.
I think Callum's right there. I'd have
O'Neill and
Walker and O'Neill.
Walker. I don't think Walker will get him.
I don't think Walker will get anywhere near it. I think for me, Clark for me. Do you know what? As well, it won't happen. But on form, and certainly the last 2 seasons, Jez Litton's been overlooked. Again, not fashionable. Jez Litton has been superb for KR.
He's been brilliant. He's been really
superb for KR. He won't get in there because he's not fashionable.
This screws Leigh. I mean, knowing Sean Wayne, Sam Powell might still have a shout.
No. I think Litton's a shout. I think Litton, Clark.
I think Jez Litton deserves a shout.
It's interesting. Right, second row. Ben Curry and Nicholson both started. I don't see either of them starting against Samoa. Let's go there. Let's just have this debate. What a load of nonsense. That tripe that came out over Junior Nsemba as to why he wasn't selected. Have you ever heard as much struggle in your life? How on earth did Junior Nsemba? I mean, I'm not being funny. I think that was to spare Sean Wayne's blushes that, quite frankly, he left him out for other reasons. Because all day long, Junior Nsemba should have started against France.
Best he can come
all day.
He would have terrified the French, Junior Nsemba.
Mate,
he is NRL bound. No matter what our friends from Wigan say, he is NRL bound
all day. I tell you what, it reminds me of one. I'm a big Michael J. Fox fan. Secret of My Success, where he goes to his job interview. He says, "Why did I go to college? Had fun, didn't you?" and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? This tripe, he's not got international. He's not experienced enough for international level. How does he expect him to get experience? How do I get experience unless I play in the game? That's what Michael said to me. How do I get experience unless I get a job that gives me experience?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, Wigan fans. I'm going to look after the cherry and white. I'm going to look back at
I don't know why. I don't know why Peter Mason's giving me a red card. I don't know what I've said. I've asked for.
Neil Rennick, Sam Walters, never in a million years. No. Not happening, mate. Junior Nsemba, yes. And then after, do you know what? Don't be surprised if Matty Nick maybe gets a squeeze in there. Trying to think of another second row that he could bang in there.
Well, they're going to bring Thingy over back from the NRL, aren't they? Smithies. No, White.
Yeah, Smithies. It'll be Smithies because he'll play Victor Radley at 13.
Victor Radley.
13. So yeah, Smithies. KPP will maybe with a shout. But on form, Smithies, definitely Smithies. Neil Rennick, let's see what we're seeing on the Sam Walters. Neil, I'll donate 20 quid to MND if someone starts in second row.
Peter Mason's given me 3 red cards now. I don't even know
I
what
don't know.
he's
I haven't got a Scooby Doo.
said.
But Neil, mate, sorry, pal. No, mate. Sam Walters can't even get in Wigan's team, mate. What gives him the right to play for England? No.
You are Chris Kendall, and I claim my $5.
Do you know what? That was a really good question, Callum. Thank you very much indeed. Hope we enjoyed the debate. But yeah, look, I think I don't think we'll be a million miles off there, lads. In that 1-13.
No. I think that's pretty decent. Kai Fowler's put one in, which I think is a good one. Does it probably want to end on? But halfway point of the season, who's your grand final prediction?
Wigan,
definite.
Yeah.
Definite. Do you know what? Based on where we are now, the big outsiders all KR.
Yeah.
Well, I say big out. It's not a big outsider, but the outsider is KR. I think if KR can keep their strike men fit, I think the only concern, and I've had this all year, and they've proven me wrong. I don't think they're the biggest in the front row.
KR.
And the business end of the season does that.
That was probably the mismatch with Catalans, Dave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're spot on. Because when Satai and Desiree came on at 20 minutes, that game just turned on a sixpence. Rumour has it they're releasing George King. Don't know how true that is. I heard that on the grapevine this week, that George King might be released earlier, which is interesting. Don't know how true that is. So that's an interesting one as well. But yeah, no. But I do think KR, just because of the way they're playing, the form that they're in. But it's like everything, isn't it? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the question's going to be, once we get to round 20 going forward, one of these teams, whether it be Warrington, Leeds, could be KR still, but one of those chasing pack, one of them will probably hit some sort of form going into the playoffs. And that's going to be interesting to see who is that team. When we get to round 20 onwards, who's the team that is just starting to look like they're hitting form? Dare I say it, Leeds-esque back in the day. Who is that team?
Yeah.
Now Leeds have got rid of Rohan Smith. Keep your eye on them. Saints are always there. I think we all agree that Wigan, if we're to say this, Wigan are our favourites to get to the grand final, and probably our favourites to win it. And then I think it's any one of 3 from KR, Saints, and Warrington.
It's going to be interesting. One thing's for certain, Rugby League will be the winner. Look, guys, it's back. That's it now. International's over. Challenge Cup over. We're now into Super League from now until October, until we're there at the Piccadilly Tap at a very nice 2 o'clock. We'll see Greg at 4. But yeah, you're always late, mate. You're in Aldi one year. I'm there at 2 o'clock on me Jack Jones, and you're
but use a 24-hour clock. Who uses a 24-hour clock?
I do. So there you go. So anyway, we'll be there in the Piccadilly Tap. We'll be, of course, somebody will be joining us for the whole day. That'll be nice for them to come along and enjoy it. But yeah, happy days. Here we go. Game on. Super League from now until the end of the season. Some belting games this weekend. As we always say, get to the Rugby League. Make sure you're there. Don't forget the tip. I've not said it this week. I'm about to say it now. Record all the games. You don't have to watch them. Just press play when you go to work. Let Sky think you're watching them. And that's how we get a 14-team comp. You heard it on Super League Raw. Nobody else is telling you to do that, but we are right here. Don't forget the quiz, 17th of July. You don't want to miss that. 2 tickets for Magic Weekend Saturday. Greg, hang on. David's talking. Saturday. Don't forget that. Don't forget the membership. Make sure you go over to the patreon.com. Go and have a look at that. Maybe become a member. You get it for entry to the quiz then. Happy days, game on, and all the other benefits as well. And just because he's put his hand up like a good little schoolboy now, I will go back to Greg. Over to you, sir.
Right, King's Head, Friday. Love to see all your Huddersfield fans in there.
We're not going to the Bluebell?
No, let's go to the King's Head.
King's Head.
Some beers there.
Controversial.
It's very controversial. So it's the King's Head by all accounts this week. There goes our sponsorship from the Bluebell. Well,
haven't you got the Bluebell? Haven't you got the Bluebell before King's Head after part of the King's Head?
There you go. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Super League Raw Weekly. We will put out on our Facebook page where we're going to be. Me and Greg need to have a chat about that one. But anyway, there you go. Anyway, that's been another edition of Super League Raw Weekly. Make sure you go and enjoy the Rugby League. Don't forget to follow Whistle Podcast. Download that on Monday on your your way into work. We will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. That's right, Neil. Next Wednesday, 8 p.m. That's when Super League Raw Weekly will be on next week. Make sure you join us. But as always, to my mate Greg and to my mate Steph, thanks for your company.
Can't be a bit weekly.
You can.
See you soon, guys.
Bye for now.